Is Andrew mad? He wants to develop 1,000 Malaysian entrepreneurs by 2015. You may ask, what does this mean to you as an aspiring entrepreneur? On this episode, we talk to Andrew Wong about entrepreneurship in Malaysia and about how he started the MAD Incubator. I'm Patrick Lim and I'm a first-time entrepreneur. I founded a company manufacturing and designing urban city bags here in Malaysia. And because I was new to business, I had tons of questions and challenges that needed answers. I started talking with veteran entrepreneurs and they would tell me these great origin stories of theirs. On this show, we talk to entrepreneurs about how they brought their crazy ideas to life. We get to hear their stories of venture and challenges, and how they started from zero to hero. Andrew, it was a great opportunity to have you be on the show today. Thank you very much. I think our discussion today will impart a lot of knowledge to the younger would-be entrepreneurs.
I hope so.
So now we're here to talk about MAD Incubator with Technology Park Malaysia, and let's talk about, before we begin, we talk about incubator. Let's talk about yourself. What were you doing before you engaged with MAD Incubator?
I was a trained accountant when I graduated from university. Worked a few years, and in 1997 I set up my first company.
1997.
Yeah, 1997. I was doing customer relationship management systems at that time.
All right.
And when I first started my first company, I think I started with a very different point of view, different kind of mindset in terms of entrepreneurship. Okay, because as an accountant, I work probably about 15 hours a day, working for my employer, and I just realized that why am I working so hard when I can do the same thing and probably make my own money.
How long were you working as an accountant?
About 92, 93 to 96. So that's almost about 3-4 years.
And that was the first job? That was your first job?
No, it's probably my second job.
Right. Okay.
So I decided I just quit and I wanted to do a business. First mistake I made was I didn't have a plan. Second mistake was I didn't know what I really wanted to do. So I spent a short while looking at what are the businesses that I could be doing. And a friend of mine said, why don't you do CRM?
Oh, okay.
You see? So I said, okay, I do. And I'm probably one of the pioneers in customer relationship management in Malaysia at that time. And it was a wrong call also, because those days nobody heard of CRM.
Right.
I was ahead of my time, so therefore I didn't study the market. And then
but being such a new market, how do you find
I don't know, I just do it.
You just jumped off.
I just jump in there. I felt like I needed to find a product, so I just jump into it. You see? And I became really good at what I did.
Right.
But unfortunately it wasn't the right time. Spent a lot of time on education, trying to educate the corporates what CRM is all about.
So what is the CRM that you were doing back then? What was it
Customer
about?
relationship management, trying to integrate the processes of sales, marketing campaign, services together using a system.
These are all the ERP systems that we're talking about.
Those days it was not ERP.
Right.
Because ERP is basically back end. This is more of a front end.
I see.
So they call it the demand chain solution.
Right.
ERP is more like a supply chain solution. So this is upfront. But of course, over the years, ERP has gone on to cover all sectors of the business. But those days, it was either CRM or ERP. See, so I was ahead of my time. So in the end, that was my first business. My first business failed.
Right. How do you So you spend way too much time educating people, and
I mean,
that's where you realize.
but I actually have one customer,
Okay.
a big one.
Mm.
But it also taught me a lot of things because, first of all, even though we close the customer, but that doesn't mean that the project is going to start.
Okay.
Although they give you the PO, etc., etc., and they will even want to take the PO out from you and cancel the whole thing. So we went through 6 months talking to them and telling them, look, we already purchased this CRM from the US.
Right.
At that time, it's 4 point. The exchange rate was 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
We already purchased that because you gave us the PO. So now I can take this one and then give it back to the supplier.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to make us bankrupt, if we don't take it. So we spent 6 months trying to do that. And then in the end, they relented and said, okay, we pass it on to the subsidiary to take up the solution. And apparently, all in all, from the time you close the deal to the time you actually really get paid, it took me about 1.5 years. That basically killed all of us. That was the first and the last project for the company.
So I'm assuming, because you were an accounts background,
Mm-hmm.
you were walking into CRM
Interesting,
that is
right?
very technical.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any experience in coding or?
I do. But when you start solution, you don't code.
Right. But you still need to have some
I
basic understanding of how things work,
Yeah, I do.
how the components work.
Yeah, I do have that knowledge.
Mm.
Okay, but of course, the coding part is left to my engineer to do it.
Right.
So I'm more on the business development side. Okay, and I wasn't that good in business development. Frankly speaking, I'm a very shy person.
Mm.
Those days, those were the .com boom, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
you have the first Tuesday and all the different kind of networking session. First time I went in there, it was like, boy, I don't even know who is all these people, and they're all mingling around. So I'm always at the corner there, just talking to myself. So those were the days,
Mm.
But of course, over time, you start to develop the confidence, and you can start talking to other people. Sometimes it's about self-esteem, confidence, and not being afraid to basically get rejected, because you always have this fear saying that, well, if I go and approach someone and say hi, maybe that person may not want to talk to me.
Yeah, might reject you.
Yeah.
Crash and
So
burn.
we always have that fear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those were the days. Anyway, my first business failed. Went to the second, third, fourth.
So you went through many businesses.
I went to many businesses.
So how do you manage to finance yourself through these many ventures that eventually fail? I mean, was it self-funded, or do you manage to find some investors into it?
No investors at all.
Right.
It always start with family, friends, and fools. And it's still true till today.
Right.
I think in those days we don't even have grant. Okay, so it's always about our own money, and I don't have my own savings for sure. So my dad actually put in like 20,000, then eventually 40,000, then eventually 200,000. He just kept bankrolling me until many years.
So that's what you call a dad.
7 years. I can cut my entrepreneurship journey. 15 years of entrepreneurship. First 7 years was a total hell. The next 7 years, 8 years, were what I call time to grow up.
Right.
Okay. So the first 7 years was a very steep learning curve. So when it comes to money, it's all about parents, grandfather, uncle, you name it. Okay. Sometimes the best part was I even tried to resort to Along.
Wow.
But the interesting part was a friend of mine actually set up the meeting. So it was supposed to be in Petaling Street. But somehow, I don't know why, maybe it's God, we couldn't call each other. We just couldn't call. I called, I couldn't
Divine
get through.
intervention.
You called, you couldn't get through. And we just couldn't get through at all. In the end, we just gave up and I went home. See? And there was another time I was down to my last dollar.
Right.
I had no choice. I was living away from home. So I had no choice. I need to go back. But I live with my grandfather. So I go back to my grandfather's house. And he was my last resort in asking for money. Because I already asked a lot from my father. My mother is giving me some. So he's the only one I have left. So I said, okay, I just go and ask. I couldn't open up my mouth. I'm trying to figure out what the best way to actually go and, ask him. Because it's the first time I asked for money. I said, okay, I drove home, prayed very hard, and I went into the house. We were watching TV. I said, oh, okay, maybe I should sit down, relax, and find the right time to ask him. Then I sat down behind him. We were watching his show. Then he had question. That probably was a perfect time, but I hesitated and I said, I don't know how to start. Then, okay, opportunity came and went. Then TV again. After that, another commercial. But this time, maybe divine intervention. He just turned around and asked me, "You need money?"
Wow.
That's it. My God, how do you know that? So the next day I got about 20,000.
Right.
See, so I think throughout this journey, I used up a lot of resources. I used up a lot of money. But I think I grew in terms of knowing exactly, if given a chance, know exactly what to do with whatever available resources that I have and put it to good use. Those days, I think I was just learning. Okay. Times were very bad, very hard.
Yeah, that was during the economic slump.
No, whether the economic slump or not, but it wasn't something that affected me. It's
Right.
basically I wasn't ready to be in business. Okay, I had no one to turn to, no one to tell me what I need to do, what should I be looking for, things like that. So everything is about me learning whatever I can learn. Okay, and at the expense of others.
But with the many ventures you went into, it was obvious you were addicted.
Mm.
You were really addicted, right?
I was. I cannot sum up the fact that I have to go back and work again.
Right. So, but how do you manage to? How do you manage to get yourself through those many ventures?
Well, yeah. Sometimes I did a lot of bootstrapping.
Right.
Okay. Not bootstrapping for the venture, bootstrapping for myself. So interesting, there was a time where I need money because I love to bake.
Right.
So I bake cakes. I bake cookies, and whatever it takes, baking. I sell it off like for Hari Raya, for Chinese New Year, do some shop. I tell you can make a lot of money. You can actually. I think in 1 month I make about 7,000-8,000. Okay, but it was very tiring.
Yes.
You get out in the morning, you bake, and then bake right through the night. I have that one small little oven that I used to bake, and I still have it today. Okay, and yeah.
And it's a short window period because you're talking about season. Hari Raya, you only have like what, couple of weeks before
Yeah.
Sale ends.
I keep baking, so that sustained me for a while. Then the next one is I write MSc papers for others. So to get the MSc status, you can earn something like 10,000-15,000 for a paper. So yeah, that also kept me going. But of course, most of the time is taking money from my parents and things like that. And there are times where I work with friends of mine who has a company. They're also in IT, and they need someone to do business development. So I get paid like 3,000 a month, things like that. So it kept on, but it's just not enough. Okay? It's not enough. So things drag on. I think I failed about 4 or 5 times.
Right.
Okay.
What were the businesses that you went into the 4 or 5 times occasion?
It all relating to businesses that are not ready yet. One, of course, CRM, business intelligence.
Right.
Even development tools, okay, going to call center and all that stuff. In those early days, it's a bit too early.
Too
But
early
of
for
course,
Malaysia, you
yeah,
feel?
too early for Malaysia.
But it was already like call
It was
centers is something
already
that's
in
very big in
Singapore.
Indonesia. Sorry,
Yeah.
in India, Singapore.
No,
and all
not
that.
yet. That time, no.
But so it's still
But
early.
Singapore, yeah. Thailand,
Right.
those two places. Okay. So yeah. Uh, but my biggest break came when I met a friend of mine. I met an old colleague. Because there was a brief period where I was working for a computer hardware company.
Right.
So there was this Indian guy that was sharing a stable room with me. So and then the company collapsed and he was forced to go back to India. So when he was in India, he wrote to me and said, "Why don't you think about exporting notebooks, MP3 players, and flash drive to India?" I said, "Okay, can give it a try." Got quotation, things like that. Then realized that actually you can make money.
Yeah.
So I did get that. I import the notebooks. Those days were the Hitachi notebooks. There's one Hitachi. So same kind of notebook. We batch it to become Sage, SAG, and sell it in India. So we make money. We make money from there. But I think just a few months later, that was 2004. A few months later, I called to serve the MCA, Malaysian Chinese Association. I was the founder of the MCA ICT Resource Center, MRC. I was there for about close to 4 years. And when I was there, I think that was the beginning of my upward swing, because I learned a lot. I learned, you see, we started from almost zero for MCA. We got a grant of 50,000. But 50,000 was used to renovate the office. But actually, in terms of working capital, there's none. So the first thing I did was to raise money, is to do an event. So we did an event, we raised a lot of surplus money, and then we do event after event. So that's how we raise money for our center. And that center is basically a center that's created by entrepreneur for entrepreneur. Okay, so we did a lot of activities there. I think in a year we did something like about 80 plus activities nationwide. Okay? And it's all about educating SMEs about IT adoption and matching the technology companies with the SMEs. So we did all that. And I think throughout the 4 years, we matched more than 5,000 companies. Okay. I started 3 incubators there in MCA, 2 venture capital funds. Okay. And I think that's the beginning of the journey towards regaining my self-esteem. Because the first 7 years, when you see everything start to collapse in front of you, I tell you, you lost your self-esteem, you lost your own confidence. You dare not even, you don't want to face your family. You know, you feel very ashamed, very embarrassed. You know, and yet you don't know how your family will react. But of course, you know, they do love you, you know. Despite all your whatever, like a prodigal son. Okay, I was like a prodigal son actually. But after MCA, I started to realize a lot of things that I could do, which I should have done last time. But there are a lot of lessons that I've learned in the past, which is why I went all right into the incubator. So talk about hand holding, talk about trying to obtain finance, talk about how to get market for them. Very critical ingredient. So we did just that. Okay. And we actually nurtured a lot of technology startup companies. Okay. And I can tell you, we are the fastest, we are the fastest company that get MSC status. In 2 weeks, we got MSC status. So, and I think we changed a lot of things in terms of the landscape, our Malaysian landscape, by nurturing technology companies. then eventually we start to see other organizations start to copy what we do.
Mm.
And we're the first in Malaysia to do an event which is free of charge. Things like that. So that was the start of my upswing. And then in 2009, change of leadership. And in the end, the leadership direction wasn't towards what we were doing.
Mm.
So we left. In fact, we were kind of like left out. So my whole team was disbanded, and that's where I got mad. I was really angry.
I'm sure.
I was really angry because we were doing very well.
And I could relate. I could definitely relate. I have stories of my own as well.
I was mad, and that's how we got MAD Incubator.
Right.
Okay. It was only 7 months later that a few of friends pointed out actually MAD can make a difference.
Yeah.
Mobile application development, stuff like that. So I said, oh, okay, that's not too bad anyway. But the real story, I was literally mad. You see?
So it stays that way.
Yeah. So that's how MAD got started. And when we got started, I really had nothing, because we gave all our whatever life to national service.
Right.
So that we don't have savings whatsoever. Maybe small amount of savings, yes lah. Okay. But small amount of savings to start an incubator like this, a bit difficult. But I realized one thing, looking back, actually I really make use of whatever means that I have. Example, I knew my period, because they shut down my incubator. So my incubators have no space. So I have my first customers from there. Okay. And because of the reputation that I actually garnered, so there are additional more people coming in, to want to be part of my incubator. Yeah, and then TPM, they wanted me to come out. They wanted me to have an incubator of my own. So they offered me a space, which actually the other side. This is an extension much later. They offered me a space at below market rate, just to help me to get started. So I have customers. Customers pay me advance rental and deposit. I use the money, basically pay off the deposit and advance rental for this place. And then I have enough to hire 2 staff. I brought on board 2 staff. And again, the first thing I do to raise money is basically doing events. So I get partners like MAD and all the others to come in, those who have supported me over the years, come in, put in, sponsor some of my events, and then eventually I never look back ever since.
So that's your calling.
Yeah.
So before we move on, let's talk about what is MAD Incubator. Maybe you can explain to. There's a lot of people who knows what is an incubator. There's also a lot of people who do not know what is an incubator. Perhaps you can explain a little bit about the concept behind MAD Incubator.
Okay. But if you look at the concept of incubator, an incubator it looks like a chicken and an egg. Okay. It's a place where you give warm, right environment so that egg can hatch. Same thing, put the incubator in the context of a business. A business starts from an egg, an idea. Okay, the egg is an idea. It needs to hatch. The idea needs to hatch to become a business venture. So you need to have the right elements, environment, maybe tender loving care, for this idea to hatch. Okay. So what are those elements for a business idea to hatch? It will involve like hand holding, okay, a lot of coaching, mentoring, maybe even provision of a physical space like an incubator. Okay. The right access to market, networking, access to funding, whatever it takes for an idea to become a business and a business to grow into a viable venture. So that's what we provide as an incubator. Some people think of us like consultant, but I beg to differ, because consultant only prescribe to you and then that's it. But we are different because we actually hold you. We listen to you, we hold you, we suggest to you. It's up to you whether you want to take our suggestions or not. Even if you don't take our suggestion, you fail, we are still holding you. You know. So it's not that we are leaving you just like that. So the incubator is where it's like a home. Okay. You sometimes you venture out on your own, you get lost, but you have a place to come back to. Okay, and you know that when you come back to this place, there are people who not going to reject you, but will help you to grow, even to become a better entrepreneur or whatnot. Okay, so that's what we do as an incubator. Okay, to me, it is very much, like you say, it's a calling, because I never realized that this is my calling until I joined MTA. And I realized that actually I can do this very well. It's also a business. Okay, it's also my way of dabbling into entrepreneurship. Okay, whether you call it safe or not, I also don't know. Okay, but I do take risk, calculated risk. Okay, but a business is a business. Okay, and you ask me what kind of incubating that I take in all kinds of incubating, because to me all businesses start with a basic fundamental, irregardless of whether you're in IT, biotech, sales, trading, service or whatsoever. You always have a fundamental. Okay, the difference is the domain, right? So to me, a business is a business, and that's what I enjoy doing there. Okay, so yeah, so MAD has grown over the years. The last 2 years, actually with 2 years in operation now. First year was basically trying to find our footing. Okay. Second year was more about consolidating. Okay. And third year is about expanding. And we are expanding actually. And we are on the verge of taking over a few incubators, and perhaps even starting a few incubators in different states. Okay, so next year you will see a lot more of what we do. Okay, but my most proudest moment about MAD was last year. We started the Big Start showcase event, and this idea is not a new idea. It's modeled after a business startup show in UK. But the fact is that when I saw that show over the internet, in fact, I said I want to do this.
Right.
Okay, and a lot of people are very skeptical whether I could do it, because I announced it in May and I want to do it in September. So that's probably about 4 months, and it's a huge undertaking. I said never mind, it's okay, we just do it. Okay, so I can tell you last year, about a month before the event, we were already not making our ends meet. Okay, we paid a deposit for the venue, but of course they wanted more. And we can't find sponsors.
This is so new. No one knows whether it's gonna happen or not. So it's gonna be hard to find sponsors.
We can't find sponsors, and then somehow I said, okay, never mind. I have to rely on a few of my connections and see whether something can be done or not. So the first thing I did was to look for the Minister of Transport, who is actually my chairman in MRC. And I said, asked him, hey, you know Jeffrey Chow or not? And he said, yeah, I know. What you want to do? I said, I need help. Okay, I'm using one of his premises that is a Sunway Convention Center, and I'm having problem now. So I cannot find enough sponsor. I said, okay. So he takes SMS, everything, and then asked me, okay, how much you want them to subsidize? I said 50% will do. So 50%, okay. I think within 24 hours, I have this Tan Jeffrey Chow calling on my handphone, And I said, my God, what am I going to do? Frankly speaking, I dare not pick up. But he sent me an SMS.
Right.
So I said, oh, okay. So now I have Tan Jeffrey Chow's number on my handphone.
Well, how do you know that it was him? You already have his number.
Because he sent an SMS.
I see. Okay. Oh, okay.
Sent an SMS. Okay. So because Dato already told me that he will call me.
Right.
Okay. So
you're worried.
I was expecting the call. Then I saw this number. It's not very, but it's a very exclusive number. It's like you bought the number, that kind of thing. Then I said,
the number that's too good to be true.
Yeah,
this must be him.
Yeah, and I didn't pick up, and he sent me an SMS.
Right.
So I said okay. So I liaised with his staff, and eventually, I got the Jeffrey Chow Foundation became my part sponsor. So they sponsor the venue and part of it, and okay, I cut my cost into half already because that was the major cost. Then before you know it, company by the name of MPSB, multimedia prospect, they came in and said, hey, I like what you're doing. So maybe we should just we help you out, joint venture, 50-50, we share P&L.
Right.
I said, oh, okay. Then finally I got enough money to pay off a lot of things, and then of course when we did a soft launch of the show, and then we start to get not sponsors but exhibitors coming in, things like that. So we lost a little bit money, but not so much, but that was an eye-opener for me. To me I always like to start this story because I want entrepreneurs to know that actually if you believe you can do it, you can actually do it. Even when chips are down, somehow there's something that will come in and
pull you right through.
You'll pull through one. See? So I'm a perfect testimony of this. I really don't know what I'm doing. I just said I will just do it. Okay? But of course, I think it's not like saying you're taking a lot of risk. There's no such thing. But I think you calculated the risk already. That it can be done. Okay? And about a month before the event, just to get 3,000 entrepreneurs to come, I was spamming all the Facebook, all the Facebook groups. Every night I updating, telling them what's going to happen. Well, in the end, 3,000 entrepreneurs. I said, well, to me that's an achievement. Because a lot of people said, even 1,000 you can't even get.
Yeah, because and on top of that, you're just spamming Facebook unless you have access to these groups of people.
Yeah, and I don't have money for publicity.
Right.
I only have social media. I just use social media to do it. And in the end, it seemed that it went viral. The best part is people remember you for doing this show, and they're looking for every year to this show. Okay. So I said, good. That was my highlight, I would say.
Okay. Now, with your experience with MCA, what you were doing, the incubator with MCA, do you see a different perspective of entrepreneurship in Malaysia compared with? I mean, for me, I only see very micro entrepreneurs, right? So my reach is only so much. But on your level, do you see that? What sort of landscape do you see when it comes to entrepreneurship in Malaysia?
They're all the same. Irregardless, the difference is the industries,
right.
the sectors. but they all have the same characteristics, the same issues, problems, challenges, you name it. So it's not distinct to a particular industry like ICT, stuff like that. So so basically there's no difference in terms of the landscape.
But which part of entrepreneurship that is strong in Malaysia? Is technopreneurs something strong, or is it something that is upcoming?
The technology entrepreneurship is upcoming, totally. But I think now it's taking a strong foothold in replacing things like trading. Services is upcoming. Services is there. Trading, manufacturing. Okay. Mainly these sectors. Okay. Of late, in the last 3 years, a lot more on e-commerce. Okay. When I left MCA that time, e-commerce was on the upswing already. Although we spent the first 2 to 3 years educating people about e-commerce, but come 28, 29, e-commerce is on the upswing. Okay. So a lot of people going into internet-based businesses, and we see ourselves doing more promotion on how to set up websites, okay, how to sell online, internet marketing, social media, and all that stuff.
These are what we're calling the smaller, the Lelong based type, or the eBay type, or you're talking about?
They're all individuals who want to set up their own shop.
Right.
E-shop.
Trading. Not manufacturing.
No. Yeah, and of course.
Or is it easy to start up a business like that?
I think it's easy.
Technically, it's easy because we have
Actually,
eBay, we have got
it's easy.
even down to shopping carts, free shopping carts.
Yeah, it's easy. It's a no-brainer actually. And now in 2012, it's getting even easier to start. Okay? So that's why this is one of the focus that we are in now. For MAD, the 4 focus areas: mobile, internet-based business, software as a service, social gaming. These are the 4 core areas that we do. Of course, the traditional one will still be like software development and so on. Okay, but software development, it basically all boils down to business model. So the in thing now for business model for software is actually cloud.
Yeah.
Software as a service.
What is apps? Like smartphone apps, is that?
Yeah, that's mobile. That's under mobile.
Is that something that we are good at?
It's something that we want to build on. Okay. So we haven't really got the expertise in terms of development. So we do a lot of leveraging with other partners. But as far as in terms of the commercialization aspect, that's where we want to be very strong at. The commercialization and the funding aspect. So we're not good in terms of technology. I mean in terms of the technical hands-on. Okay. So what we're not good at, we work with other partners to fill in the gap. But we continue to focus on marketing, funding, network, and the ecosystem. So we are building ecosystem for each domain that we want to get into.
So what are the typical companies that you normally incubate?
Here we game, ERP software development. We have 1 or 2 mobile. Portal, a lot of internet portals. Okay.
Internet portals, maybe.
Yeah. Like travel portal.
Right. Okay.
Rent a room portals and all the stuff.
The ARB.
Yeah. Okay. You see, so these are some of the ones that we do. Okay. So yeah. And one thing about us over here is that we don't emphasize a lot on funding. So I don't encourage my entrepreneurs to look for grants or whatnot at a very early stage. Grants, if you if it comes to the bonus, it will be a bonus. But a lot more have to do with revenue traction. Okay, so
Start the foundation right first.
foundation and revenue. Okay, so we created a program to accelerate revenue. So the first year for us is the incubating must accelerate from 0 to 250,000, 250k. Why 250? Is because I think there's a sufficient buffer for them to sustain and have enough cash flow to move on to the next stage. That is 250 to 500. See, and then of course 500 as well. So we structured our program according to this revenue baseline. Okay, and you only move on once they hit the milestone. See? So the focus is all on revenue. So then we realize that they don't need money. They don't need money. They don't need funding. All my incubators here have no funding. All self-sustaining, and they started with their own money. Okay, and this is one thing I'm encouraging even entrepreneurs. Usually when entrepreneurs come and say, the first thing they say about is getting funded, they are not in my list. Really. Why? Because they have no taste of what entrepreneurship is like. It's all about money. And those were the kind of thinking that I had when I first started my company. You know, during the dot-com boom, talk about, I started dot-com and then in 6 months time I'll be a millionaire, I sell it off to the venture cap, things like that. It doesn't happen. Okay. Second thing is, we in Malaysia, we have a very small market. Okay. I mean, we don't compare ourselves with Silicon Valley. It's totally different. A lot of our entrepreneurs try to be like Silicon Valley. Okay, so they think, okay, I will get funded, but no way you're going to get funded until you build value for your company. You can't get funded in 6 months time. So similar like Silicon Valley. In Silicon Valley, only 1% get funded of this startup. Okay, so what happens to the 99%? They work. Okay, and some of them work until they get funded. Okay, the same thing in Malaysia. We cannot blame our venture cap or angel investment community for not funding people, because that the commonalities are the same. You ask Singapore, I even ask Singapore, I ask Thailand, I ask Indonesia, I ask Philippines, Hong Kong, China, you name it, India. Still tell me, 1 hour 100 deals they fund. Sometimes 1 hour 800 deals. You see? So it goes to tell that everywhere is the same. If you go to Silicon Valley, you're not good enough, that's it. See? But why you want to travel halfway around the world? You know, where the time zone is so different, people are different, cost is different.
You have to start everything from ground again to set a network.
Yeah, why can't we look at what we have here, Malaysia, closer to home will be ASEAN, a 600 million population community, and after that India, China, Asia, which is so much closer to home, about 4 hours plane ride away. You can go and do your business and come back. You know, you don't waste time traveling half the globe.
So coming to that, with the new 2013 budget, what is your perspective? I mean, we're not here to nitpick or anything like that, but we want to see what is this budget in store for entrepreneurs existing as well as future. What is your perspective over this?
I think it will definitely generate a lot more entrepreneurs and a lot more Malay entrepreneurs. Okay. The good thing about the budget is the issue of angel investment. That's one. Now, if you give tax break for angel investors, individual angel investors, then we can come to a situation whereby even people like us and incubators, they can do co-investment together with us. Second thing, now it's about the ability for intellectual property to be a collateral. I think that's very good, especially for those who are in the invention business and so on. Of course not for IT, because IT not patentable for Malaysia. Okay, but it's a good start. Maybe one day IT will be a patentable kind of software can be patented just like in US. Okay, but it's a good start. I mean, even our trademark, our copyright has a value. Okay, then you talk about the New Entrepreneur Foundation. Okay, that will generate a lot of Malay entrepreneurs. And then the New Entrepreneur Fund. Okay, for those new entrepreneurs who want to go into entrepreneurship. But I think what the budget is going to do for this year 2013, for the coming 2013, is to get a lot more entrepreneurs to come aboard. Okay, it is a number game. There will be many, but few will be caught. You see, so yeah, but I personally believe it's good for us incubators. Okay, it's good for us incubators because we will have more business. New entrepreneurs comes in, stuff like that. Although there's no incentive for incubators right now, but it's up to us how we want to capitalize on this opportunity. Okay, yeah.
So what would be for a person to be involved with your incubator? What are the costs of them? What cost of engagement for them? What are the things that they should be prepared to forgo? Equity or
no? I don't ask for equity. They must allocate about 10,000 ringgit a year.
Right.
Because I charge about $800 a month for incubation. And imagine if I can help you to grow within 1 year, you invest 10,000, but you grow 250,000 in terms of revenue. That's probably a fraction of probably about 5% of your revenue.
Right.
So that to me is a very interesting proposition to our entrepreneurs. And by being in an incubator, you get all kinds of help, tools, support that you need to grow that business. Okay. At mine, you say, in terms of MAD Incubator, touch wood, we still have about 100% success. Okay, that means, in other words, none of our incubatees in here have failed. That is our track record.
Also because with your vast experience, you're able to identify.
Yeah, but possibly. Okay. So now the challenge is to systematize my knowledge into a system. You see? So that's why this year I start transforming my incubator. I realized that for a business to rely on just one person is very dangerous.
Yes.
So I'm starting to transform it. Okay, creating system, leveraging on the expertise of others to create a program. So that's why we have the Entrepreneur Tech Program, there's an Idea Acceleration Program. We even created our MAD Coach Academy to train up more coaches for MAD Incubator. And we even have a MAD Entrepreneur Academy. Okay, so we start to put in all the knowledge of all the trainers that we can find into our portal via video, podcasting, and so on, so that entrepreneurs now can learn. Okay, in the past we don't have ability to learn. Okay, because even now we still have to pay a lot more money to learn. But imagine now we pay 100 ringgit a year to learn everything on video and podcast. I think that's really fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're trying to democratize learning. Okay. And I'm also trying to democratize incubation, entrepreneurship, to make entrepreneurship those who dwell into entrepreneurship successful. And I believe that it's a format, that it's a process that they can master. Because to me now, after going through 15 years, I find doing business is actually very easy. Okay. Why? Because it's actually a process. An entrepreneur must understand that he is or she is the person who look at harnessing resources, capital, people, ideas, market, everything to become an opportunity. They have to understand that basic fact. If they can understand that, okay, then they become good entrepreneurs. You know, it's not so finding grant, finding venture capital, you know, finding the market, validating it, finding the people who can form your team, finding the factors of production to produce it. This is part and parcel of your job. See? So entrepreneurship is not about us, it's not about you as an entrepreneur. See? It's actually about a scheme of things. Okay? It's a career. You know? So it's the same as you being an accountant, but you are now being an entrepreneur. And this is your expertise. So if they understand that, then they can become really good entrepreneurs. And to be able to achieve all these things, that's where you start to see some entrepreneurs can do it, some entrepreneurs cannot do it.
Right.
Okay? Why? Because they don't have the means to do it. And means are acquired. Resources are acquired. It's based on who you know, what you know, okay, who you are, and what you have at that point in time. Okay, and your means and resources start to expand with the more people that you interact with, the more people you do business with. Okay, so what you could not do today, maybe 1 year down the road you could do because you have the means now to do it. Okay, so there are times where ideas cannot work because it may not be right at the point in time. Okay? But 1 year down the road, the idea could work. It could be executed. Okay? And everything about entrepreneurship is execution. Okay? How you execute all these processes, okay, with what you have, everything together, to create an opportunity.
Opportunity in the sense of solving a problem?
No. Opportunity in terms of making money, creating a viable business venture. That is an opportunity. A business opportunity. In action. See? So, I don't know about solving problems and all those things, okay? But I think if there is a gap, that's an opportunity. It's not necessarily about solving problems. It's also about solving needs, unmet needs, and to solve all these, or to identify all these unmet needs and problems, some people want to put it, we need to do market validation. And that's why I'm advocating very strongly on market validation. So the first thing I ask entrepreneurs when they give me ideas is, how sure are you build this product, someone will buy it?
Right.
If you tell me, if you have a doubt, a single doubt, I can multiply that doubt 1,000-fold, show that actually you don't know. But if you tell me that, yeah, I've done my homework, I've asked people about this, and these are the feedback given to me, and I'm very sure this is where my solution can actually meet the unmet need or solve the problem, I'd be more convinced. So I know you have a market, that want to buy, at what price, and you know how big the market is. See? And that's how investors look at.
Right.
You know, I do invest in company. Okay. I also look at the total picture. I look at how you execute, your ability to execute your market. Whether you've done your homework or not. I don't care about the idea. Okay. I mean, everyone can come up with the same idea,
Yes.
but
Whether you can run it. That's what you're looking for.
whether you have the ability to do it.
Right.
Okay. So the ability to do that, it very much depends on who you know, what you have. Okay. So that's why if you look at all these things, this scheme of things, actually doing business is easy.
Mm.
And that's why I tell all my entrepreneurs, actually it's very easy. Only you make it complicated.
That's true. And like even for myself, because I'm engaging it for the very first time, so it's harder to figure out, harder to see where the clean cuts are. So we are always clouded with what if it's like this? We're over analyzing it, paralyzing ourselves.
Yeah. Which is true. See? We should make it simple.
Mm.
Some businesses can be very simple, some technology can be very simple. It doesn't have to be innovative.
Mm.
Actually, you name it, you can. What are the innovative technology you can find in the world today? I think practically not many. Okay. You say about Google is trying to do better than Yahoo. Yahoo is already there.
Yeah.
Okay. You talk about Facebook actually is just part and parcel of someone who do better than all the other social media
Yeah,
or social
yeah.
network that they have.
It's all progression, all
Yeah.
evolution
That's right.
of an existing item, an existing product.
So I tell my entrepreneurs that actually you don't worry about whether you have a real good idea or not. Okay, because actually ideas and opportunities are always evolving,
Mm.
and the ability to capitalize or see these opportunities is very much dependent on your resources, your means, your insights, and all this goes over time.
Mm.
Okay? So today you may not see it, but 1 year down the road you may, because you gain enough experience to look at things. Okay? Or people you meet, you talk to people, get more insights. Okay? You learn. So it makes a lot of difference. So don't worry about whether this idea can take off or not. Okay? Because we always start with a small seed.
Right.
And that small seed become a small plant, then become a tree. Okay. So if you study all the big companies around the world today, they didn't just start with one big idea. They evolve. Okay. So small story. Don't think too much. Just get started somewhere.
Okay.
See?
That's a good point. Now, okay, we're running short on time. We're coming to the last two questions. So, if you come across yourself, that many years back before you even started MAD, right, what would be the first 3 things you would tell yourself to motivate you to really go the distance?
Don't wait. Make revenue fast.
So revenue comes first.
Yeah, revenue comes first. Do market validation. 3 things. Actually, I have 10 pillars of a successful entrepreneur. The day I put on my thoughts, I realized that actually there are basically 10 things that an entrepreneur should have if you want to make it. Okay, so I'll leave that for later.
We'll definitely come back for that. So, okay, last question. Where do you, for yourself, where do you see yourself right now? 0 or hero?
I'm always a 0. Okay, because I realized that over the years when I start my business, I actually start from 0. Even today, my businesses all start from 0. I don't put in investment unless I have to. Okay, so and I build I build the business through and through. I have one philosophy when I build this kind of business. I don't care what other people say. I set the future, I control the future, and I don't need to predict the future. That's my philosophy, and that has served me very well. Like me, I came in. I'm a small kid on the block. Okay, and a new kid on the block too. There are so many established incubators, right? But I just do it my way. Today, MAD Incubator is one of the top incubators in Malaysia, doing it its own way, and others are following what I'm doing. Okay, and now the government is asking for suggestion how to go and build the incubator, how to grow them and all that. And I'm sitting in the Pemandu board, and I'm going to take over one of the government incubators soon. So that proved to me that whatever I'm doing must be the right thing to do.
It has to be.
Yeah. So I always tell my entrepreneurs, when you do your business, you don't care about the competition. Competition is good, but you must set your direction. You must know what you want to do, what you want to achieve, okay, and just go along that way. Okay, so you decide your future, okay, and you must control that future. So if you can control it, you don't have to predict it. So that means, in other words, if there are uncertainties that comes in and rock this boat, it will not be affected because you are in control. So key thing is control.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. But before we close, do you have anything to plug? Upcoming event or anything like that the audience might be interested to attend?
Upcoming event? Well, we do have a big start showcase in Kota Kinabalu. That will be on the 28th and 29th. Okay, but I think look out
28th,
forward.
29th of November. Right.
But look out forward to next year.
Right.
Okay. Next year, MAD Incubator will be spreading its wings. Okay, and we will definitely be holding a lot of activities and events, particularly our MAD Tech Ventures. Okay, which we plan to hold in the first quarter of next year, and that is the launching pad for technology entrepreneurs. So we are on the lookout for technology entrepreneurs and see whether they can use this platform to launch or not. Second thing coming will be we're launching a book.
Right.
We call it the 25 MAD Fellows.
Okay.
Okay. We want to identify 25 entrepreneurs. I don't want them to be big entrepreneurs, but I want them to be normal entrepreneurs who
Attainable.
probably have already gone through the wave of validating business model, now have a commercial product and growing the business, stuff like that. Because this is where the normal and upcoming entrepreneur can identify and learn from these normal entrepreneurs. Not those entrepreneurs that already made their million, go IPO and all things. So it's
when the mountain is
too
way
far
too
away.
high
Yeah, that's right. So we want to focus on normal entrepreneurs.
Right.
So that's two highlights.
How soon can we look forward to that?
Well, hopefully by the end of first quarter of 2013.
Right.
Because we are co-creating to do the book.
Right.
The next thing, entrepreneurs must learn how to co-create with other people. Okay. I realized that by co-creating, even like a book like this, okay, a lot of good things happen. Okay. A lot of new products, new opportunities happen. So yeah, that's the next takeaway.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Continued success.
Thank
Very
you.
good job.
Thank you.
And hopefully we could do this one more time next time.
Can.
Alright?
Definitely will do.
Thank you very much.
Alright.
We're passionate about making amazing urban bags. So we don't compromise on things that make a poor quality product. What we refuse to compromise on is how we deliver our bags to our users. Because getting the bags to our users on time and securely is what completes our definition of a truly amazing quality product.